you a ping guy?
Ping? No. I have a ping bag that's that's the standard. Well, we're not talking golf. What were you talking about?
Yeah, I got a ping putter.
Yeah, I used to have I got the exact camera champ, the PLR. It's like the ping reserve putter. And I used that for about a year, and then I got this new Scotty build. It's just disturbingly good. Putt again.
Good morning, wherever you are, or maybe good afternoon. I don't know what time of day it is for Devin Neiman, but he got his day started off right, and we hope we can get your day started off equally, but maybe add some money to the situation. That's where Eric Lindquist steps in. Mike Awesome Yo is producing. Now, has Eric, changed the name from Awesome Yo to Stokastic Yo?
Sure has. Wait till the chat pops up. You'll be able to see him pretty easily pop. Yeah, there he goes. Type.
Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of type action.
Never in doubt. You're asking wherever anybody else is. Where in the world is Aton San Diego? That's always the question that I have on every video you do, on every show you do. Where God, tell the people where you're at.
All right. So first off, by the way, where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Definitely the game of reference here, but where in time is Carmen San Diego? Very underrated game. So just wanted to get that out there. Okay. And no, Frank Castle, I'm not there at the parlor. I'm at world famous Petnato's restaurant in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. It's been here for a century now. So over 100 years, best Italian food you'll find. Scranton, Carbondale, Northeast Pennsylvania, even into Binghamton, New York, what have you. So I'm hanging here for you, Lindquist. All right.
Yeah. Getting the Carbonara in Carbondale. Is that that's coming up?
Yeah, they put the carb in Carbondale for sure.
Yeah, I bet they do. Here's this pound of butter.
Spread.
Let's put this in this pan and let's throw the other stuff. That sounds fantastic.
You have no idea. So my wife's family, this is their restaurant and all, and we're up at the house, up at this lake, not far from the restaurant. And it's 3 families, technically 2 with children, right? And then more families come in and everybody eats. So there's leftovers galore. It's hilarious that you say that about the butter, because there was something in here on like Tupperware. And I was like, is this a piece of cake? Like, what the hell is this in the fridge? And I opened it up, and I kid you not, it was just butter, not even like a slab of butter like this big. And it was just extra. Like, if anybody needed some butter, here's a face size slab of butter for you.
Yeah. More butter than you're going to put in your body all year long.
Yes.
Here it is all at once. Enjoy. That's so cool.
There was a time when butter was good for you. You know, back in the 50s, they put butter in everything. They put butter in butter.
Yeah, but now we can't have nice things.
Well,
we got to be healthy. We got to take care of ourselves. I had Taco Bell at 2 a.m. I don't give a shit.
Good for
it's
you.
Delicious.
Did you have the kale special at Taco Bell, or you just went full tube meat?
No. I'm a cheesy gordita crunch along with some Doritos Locos. Sometimes when I'm feeling healthy, I'll just get like 3 hard shell tacos with the Diet Pepsi and let it ride. But it is definitely on a strict diet here lately. But I played 27 holes of golf yesterday, and I played because there was a concert going up. There's this public golf course in Burbank, and sometimes when I know there's a Starlight Bowl like concert going on up there, the golf course gets like shut down except for one road people don't know to take to get there. And so I had like the entire golf course to myself for like 4 hours last night, and I played 27 holes, probably like 3.5 hours, just flew. Played like a worst ball where you hit 3 tee shots every single time you take the worst one and you see what you shoot. And it was just a lovely
cart or
night.
walk 27.
I took a cart. I took a cart.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not like you earned Taco Bell. You just rewarded yourself with it. You walked.
I got out of the cart and walked because I don't know. I was trying to play. I'm trying to get ready for stuff. I've got golf tournaments coming up in August. I need to prepare before NFL season, getting all my golf out of the way in August on these lovely Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and we'll be ready to ride.
Now we have 9 games today. So are you prepared for this?
Maybe. Last 2 days of MLB have been the apocalypse. I had such a good Thursday, Friday. No, that's a lie. Friday was terrible. Thursday was fantastic. Right out of the All-Star break, was feeling confident, smashed Last 2 days, other than, from the betting streets, which have been awesome, check out the Odd Shopper channel, Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Those have been great, but my God, DFS, if you don't stack the team that scores 28 runs, you're probably going to lose. Yesterday, I don't know if a stack did a thing. I don't think they did. It was brutal. But anyway, we're on to today. I really like this slate. I think there's a lot of really under-owned spots, and my favorite stack of the day is definitely contrarian. So I'm looking forward to talking it.
All right. Well, the show here, this shitty peacock is continuing where I have the Phillies -2. So if you see anything pop up, let me know. There's no way they're going to get swept by the Cubs today, right? All right. So let's look at the Angels.
Hi, Loco. By the way, I haven't seen Loco forever. Hello, Loco. News God himself, El Negro Loco in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what's up, my dude? Sean V, if you listened to me on Blue Jays in here that day, you would have won. Shut the fuck up. There you go.
That's Waffle House better than Taco Bell. Now you can't eat Waffle House.
You recommended Domingo Herman and said that he was the stand that you were making on Thursday, and you're victory lapping on Friday, getting one team right. Congratulations. Yeah. I thought they were an abysmal play at 15%, 20%, but whatever. It's just my take.
Hold on, I need to view the deleted message. Why did you delete that?
He's just trying to starch it. Well, if you listened to me on Friday,
like, you only delete like bigoted, offensive shit.
It's who it is. That. It's the Draymond Green. Okay. It's the Draymond Green effect where you're a repeat offender. You get scrutinized at a higher level than the rest of chat.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't get it. By the way, Trey, Philly's stuck on some peacock shit. I hate it. All right, now let's start here. In Atlanta, right? Screw that. Poor Sean. All he did
was
stop
being butthurt, Eric. No, fanatic. I won't stop being butthurt. Butthurt? What?
No, butthurt.
I know. I just said it weird because I was upset. I'm tilted.
Oh, Fanatics PH. So that's a Philly account. Otherwise, they got to change it.
Yeah.
All right. See, now look at this.
Eric.
We can't delete Trey's comment. I ran a K parlay, right? That was hidden for real. All this hidden
That's
stuff.
Fine.
All right, let's start in Atlanta.
Hidden.
No. I'm just saying.
Shut up, Kyle B23. I love you. I'm just kidding.
Well, at least he didn't delete that.
Ooh, Eric, he's like treating it like Aton's Twitter, and Aton's upset.
I'm not upset.
Okay.
I just don't, butthort is a new hashtag, by the way. That's trending.
Thanks. I missed you, by the way.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, where were you?
Once a week is just not enough.
Oh, well, that's fair. Yeah, I'm not doing that shitty radio show anymore either. So you and I have to find a new platform.
Maybe we play a member guest. You come out.
You
to
can
LA
come out
in the winter months.
They run a member guest at my spot every Wednesday. So
I guess you make it? Go win something. Yeah, I'll show up on a Wednesday. It sounds fun.
Okay.
Leave my wife and my dog behind, just like a vagabond in the night.
Wait until you have a kid. You'll be dying to do that. All right, let's start in Atlanta.
Book it now. I'll book it now.
Oh, man. Let's look at this. Reed Detmers, Ian Anderson. You're not going to get many Ks out here tonight for either one of these guys. However, when you start to look, for example, the leverage for Ian Anderson is so bad. It's almost like I don't even know why or how you're going to work that 6,500. We also have Alcantara, a couple of other guys, as far as that. But Ian Anderson seems to be, just looking at him alone, one, if not the most popular, cheapest option on the board. I just don't know what you're getting. Not to say to stay completely away from both of these guys, Eric. I'm just saying from like a K reward standpoint, I just don't know what you're getting outside of stuffing a 6,500 or 6,900 guy in your roster.
Yeah, we're getting to it right away. My favorite stack of the day is the Angels. I don't think it's remotely close. We have phenomenal hitting conditions in Atlanta, and he is the most popular pitcher. If you're playing cash games, you're probably playing Ian Anderson along with Alcantara, and you're moving on with your day. Alcantara, whomever you want to be playing, he's the same guy. So cool. I get that this total is under 4, and I get that there are Angels that strike out at a ridiculous clip on this team. Joe Adell back in our lives, 35.5% strikeout rate. Brandon Marsh, even worse there. Jared Walsh, 30%. Stassi, 30%. But I just kind of look at this lineup, and I think that there's enough on the bone there. And again, it's just such favorable hitting conditions when blowing out, super, super hot in Atlanta. We have those kind of conditions in a lot of places, but it seems like all of those teams are pretty darn owned. I kind of just disagree, and I see the positive leverage we're getting to them. They're tied with Miami, 1.7% positive leverage. I don't really even know necessarily how to quantify that. All I know is that Shohei Ohtani is the best one-off play of the entire day. You have 2% ownership share going on this entire team. And Ian Anderson is not good. If it wasn't a matchup against Atlanta, if it wasn't a matchup against the Angels, which is what we see repeatedly, these pitchers being super, super popular, you wouldn't even be having this conversation about Ian Anderson. He gives up a 41.4% hard hit percentage. He has an 11.1% walk rate. There's enough speed in guys. Joe Adele, multiple ways of him paying off for you. He's got crazy power. I expect him in the next couple of years to be a real solid big leaguer. He's been very disappointing up to this point in time. I know because he's on my dynasty team and it sucks, but he has that speed combination tool with it. I just think Ian Anderson, I get it. I understand that at 6,500, he's the best value pitcher on the board, but we're talking tournaments and we're trying to finish at the top. And I don't see how I don't play a lot of Ohtani. I think that there's enough outfielders into like Odell and Marsh to pay off for you. Stassi's not so bad. Moving up to 5th at the catcher position, Jared Walsh, cheaper. I just really like what we're getting from this Angels team. And it's really going, not even just underrepresented, not represented.
No, not at all. And you mentioned the leverage there. That actually increased because before we start the show, they're at about 1-1-1. So there's been an increase 0.6%, if you will. You mentioned tied with Miami. We'll get to that game for sure, especially on the Miami stack. But again, just looking at the difference here, not to say that Mitch Keller just blows doors off. He doesn't. But you've got a similar team total. I mean, you've got a similar leverage score. You've got over double the ownership. And granted, as you mentioned, Ohtani, so there's going to be some guys you're paying up for compared to Miami. But all things considered, it would just make even more sense. Like, I don't know why anybody would even push back if the options are Miami, LA, or Baltimore for top stacks today, based on what we have with leverage, and you're going with the Angels. It makes the most sense out of those three that we have anyway from a leverage score.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez. I mean, you're talking about each one of these situations here specifically. Mitch Keller, he's kind of my pivot that I'm landing on from some Ian Anderson in tournaments going up against this Miami lineup that when they're absent Jazz Chisholm, they are just so bad against right-handed pitching. It just is, it's pretty phenomenal. The regression that's kind of been in store there, and they're starting to get healthy again. But now you're looking at having, I believe Jorge Soler is going to be out again today now. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. He got demoted to like the 7 hole the other day. Yeah, Jorge Soler got sent back to the IL. So he's hurt with lower back spasms again. That seems bad. So this lineup's going to look horrible for Miami going forward. I think that it's okay if you want to land there because, again, there's positive leverage. Nobody's going to be getting there. But I just strongly prefer – I get it. This lineup is not good. Like, the Angels do not have a great lineup, but there's enough power there. Obviously, Ohtani, Ward, Walsh, Stassi, 5th. He's got a 194 expected batting average. I expect him to start being better. He's hitting the ball hard still, a 42.7% hard hit percentage. I expect better things to be happening for him on the horizon. And Adele's cheap. Gosselin's cheap. Marsh is cheap. The only guy I'm not getting to is Andrew Velasquez. I just think that it's a team that you should have more of than the field, and it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Atlanta before we move on and get back to what you were mentioning with Nestor Cortez and the Yankees, the Braves do have a pretty high run projection that we have 5.5. It's right there in that top range, that mid to high fives, where there are only a handful above them. So it's not so much as far as anti the Angels stack or anything with Ian Anderson. It's really just this Braves team hitting what they're as well as they have been, and an opportunity to go up against a guy in Reed Detmers who isn't really going to overpower them with Ks.
No. Well, here's the thing. Reed Detmers got sent back to AAA, struck out 14, got called back immediately. And it's looked pretty serviceable. Like, it's looked decent. Now, this isn't just me saying, hey, let's play Reed Detmers and go nuts by some means. He's 6,900. I like Keller more, but he's now had back-to-back quality starts after an abysmal start to the season. He's only 22 years old, I believe, or 23 years old. I know that he's under 23 or 23, whatever. I'm done talking. 6 innings pitched now, the last 2, only 7 hits combined and 13 strikeouts. The guy has such a disparity. We'll talk about Baio later too, but like, I don't know if I can be talked into any of that. But Atlanta, as dangerous as they are, as ridiculous amount of power as what they have they strike out. Every single person in the lineup today, higher than a 22.5 strikeout rate. That's some upside that can exist there. So I have a couple shares of Reed Detmers in tournaments, but this Atlanta squad as well would not surprise me at all if they went completely nuts. They're one of the best offenses, one of the best teams in baseball. A little bit of negative leverage going their direction. I think you can go to the back half of the lineup. Nobody's going to play left on left, Michael Harris. Nobody's going to be playing Orlando Arcia. You can find ways to get to some of those pieces and find a way to be contrarian. But I'm not going to be going completely nuts with Atlanta just because I do expect the guys you want to get to. Acuna's super popular, Swanson, Riley, all three of those guys over 10% as they should be against any lefty.
Oh man, you're going to absolutely love this Bello bet that I have for you coming up. All right, so let's go to
Baio, but same
whatever
dude.
the hell is.
We have Alcantara. We've got Baio, Bello.
Well, Alcantara is probably the better way to pronounce it, don't you think?
I'm going to pronounce it however he says it, and I don't think I've ever heard him have an interview. All I do is roster him because he's lovely.
Well, he pronounces it Alcantara. You haven't heard him say that?
Oh, there you go. Well, then I trust you.
The best was when Andy. I'm not on the radio anymore. I'm on television. I've upgraded.
Let me upgrade you.
I'm butthurt about that comment. All right, Yankees.
What an asshole. Literally.
Well, I've been called worse. 5.7 run projection. That's pretty hard to get around your boy Kramer versus Kremer. So he's not striking anybody out. The Yankees look really strong, at least on paper here with this stack. On the other hand, though, you've got Cortez, and I don't want to slight the Orioles for what they've been doing. It just looks like it could be a pretty good matchup for Cortez. We talked about the leverage, 8,700 on the books for DK. Definitely not the leverage you're going to get with Sandy or Ian Anderson by all means. So this is workable here where you could get below that 19.4 percentage and still have a healthy amount of Nestor Cortez in your lineups tonight.
Yeah, look, Kremer. Now you've played with my emotions. I don't know what to do anymore. The guy's been pretty good this season, a 2.6 ERA, very limited sample size, but 1.32 whip, not so good. Obviously, he's getting away with a little bit of luck. K-rate's
pretty low, though, isn't it?
K-rate's, yeah, it's just a guy who's serviceable. But again, this is just another one of those spots with phenomenal hitting conditions, and it's the best lineup in baseball. So if you want to be rostering Yankees, pretty hard for me to say, hey, don't do that, because they're always going to have one of the top stack scores just for all purposes. They have a little bit of positive leverage. You should probably be playing them. They have an 11.5% top stack percentage on DK. I'm primarily playing there. It's just going to be a team that I get to the usual suspects of. Now, I will say, if you do want to get to the best hitters from this lineup, Matt Carpenter's now all the way up yesterday and today, 5,700. The going rate on Matt Carpenter and his absurdity that he is putting up at the big league level at the moment, it's got a pretty high going rate, 577 expected slugging. As good as he's been, he is no longer free. And this entire stack, you've got to find ways to play Hicks, Gallo. You've got to play some kind of savings in some spots. Trevino, I don't mind 3,200 for him. But I think that there's even better spots on the board. We'll talk about the Toronto spot because I think that that's not unavoidable chalk, but it's just such a good spot that it's going to be hard for me to get away from there. So Yankee shares, I think the ownership will still be there on the usual suspects. I mean, just like with Acuna there, you're going to see Aaron Judge continue to be very popular on every slate because it's Aaron Judge against righties, and the guy is just a murderer of them.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think just looking at this, by the way, shout out to Nate Robinson on the Super Chat, Carbondale, Illinois. So that's news to me. I didn't realize that there were multiple Carbondales. So
isn't there like a water town in like 15 states or something too? There's one in South Dakota. I know there's towns and cities that just are everywhere for some reason.
Well, somebody left because they were probably like a pariah and they thought, all right, well, I'm going to start my new Springfield. And then it was
the Sean V of Springfield, if you will.
Oh man.
Wild stuff is happening. Stuff is happening in chat. That's why I paused.
Is Sean L really Sean V, like El Negro? Look, the news god sniffs out anything.
Pretty hilarious.
All right. He's our guy when it comes to finding news or information. So if he says that, it's hard to disagree, right?
Yep. Carbondale also in Western Colorado. See, these are things that exist.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Mr. Patrick O's pitcher and I have the same surname. My pronunciation is dead on balls accurate. But to be fair, I hit Lindquist with 2. Kramer versus Kremer. I believe it is Kremer, though, right?
Kramer, I believe. I have no idea.
Mr. Patrick's going to let us know. All right, we're done with this. Oh, the only thing I was going to say on this one, and I think this is my takeaway from this, so take it for what it's worth here. But if Toronto does not put up 30 runs against Boston in that one game in this series, I don't think people are rushing. Look, starting pitcher aside here, I get it that there's going to be some vulnerability with Boston, what have you, but it seems like the fact that the Yankees in this particular matchup are still, even at 0.6, positively leveraged. I get it. Like, they've been high cost all year. That's not new. This seems like people may be a little bit overreacting to what happened with Toronto in this Boston series.
Yeah, a little bit. But before we get there, let's close the loop on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Baltimore. Like that was the.
That was the segue talking about it compared to the Yankees. I think they would still get there because Baio at the big league level so far has been just a travesty, an absolute travesty now. 8 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. Yay. A 2.38 whip. Like, that's not even real life. 9 earned runs. So this has not been good. It's a very small sample size. It's 2 games. But again, the hitting weather is just phenomenal. Winds blowing out pretty strong, 15 miles an hour to left center. You get out there and you start giving up bombs to, all these guys can hit it out of the park, except, Biggio sucks. Tapia sucks. He hits fly balls that turn into grand slams and ruins my life. But other than that, totally makes sense to me why Toronto is as popular as they are. I think I'm going to be trying to find other paths that aren't them because, you're right. We could get to lock. The team that scored 28 runs won again yesterday, looking to sweep here, goes back home tomorrow, gets a St. Louis team without Goldschmidt, Arenado. This team could make a run in the AL East very, very quickly. I did bet them this morning as soon as I saw Goldschmidt and Arenado were going to be out. I feel like that's just such a huge upgrade in this series coming up. Couldn't get any number on a game for tomorrow, but was able to bet them to win, not the AL East, but to get into the playoffs and tried to find some value there. We'll see if it pans out, but I do think Toronto does go on a run. I said that, I believe it was on Wednesday, leading into the Thursday show from a betting perspective, where I said Toronto's a team that I expect to have a big second half of the season.
Man, I tell you, to piggyback on that, because I'm sure you're still going to get some pretty decent odds for a guy like Manoah. But man, same thing that we talked about with McClanahan and any futures with the Cy Young, especially since he's still north of 2-1 on a return as he has. It's going to coincide. Like, there's going to be some sort of correlation between a guy's odds increasing significantly as the ace for a team that's making a playoff push. So Toronto, Tampa, what have you. Mm-hmm. So are you good? You good to go to Boston now?
Yeah. Well, let's talk Baltimore, because I don't think people understand the splits that Nestor Cortes has. He has been a monster against left-handed pitching this season. From an advanced perspective, he's got a 2.39 xFIP, a 1.8 FIP against lefties. That's culminated in a 132 WOBA. That looks like make-believe. This lineup, other than Cedric Mullins, has 8 right-handed hitters in it, and I do think the hitting conditions warrant getting to some Baltimore here. They do have a higher implied total than the Angels. I think Ian Anderson, being as popular of a pitcher as he is, I'm more inclined to get to more shares of them. But I don't know how you don't want to get to some shares of Baltimore here. Austin Hayes specifically there, down to 3,700. We've got Mancini and Mountcastle, the same situation you run into every day, but now they're 3,200 and 2,800. And then Rushman, 4,200 now that he's batting 5th or 2nd. He keeps flopping back and forth, but 5th today because Chirinos comes in the lineup batting 8th. I just feel pretty confident that there are going to be some gettable opportunities, even against Nestor Cortes, as good as he's been this season, just because of some of these slips against splits against righties, a 3.98 xFIP, so nearly a 4 xFIP, a 296 WOBA is still decent, but like much, much more gettable. He's faced so many righties this season compared to lefties because people realize how good he is against the other, or the same sidedness of the plate. So I'm just saying there's going to be some shares I get to, not so much full stacking, but definitely want to get to some Rushman, some Hayes, and then either one of the first base guys, Mountcastle or Mancini.
All right, so let's move on. Again, hit that thumbs up button. You know the drill here, right? All the different Lancasters and Carbondales that you can find. Just hit us by all means with that thumbs up. We want you subscribed here too. The Odd Shopper channel. Both of us have multiple pieces of content.
You have 48 pieces a day.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Wait until football starts. All right. I told you I'm not doing the radio thing anymore, so I have more time on my hands. And between Nolan and Rasa and anybody else who's in a management position, they're probably tired of hearing from me. But all I want to do is work.
In the world is Aton San Diego. Come on.
Tell you never played the time game where you had to go back in time at different times?
I think there was like a TV show where they started to do that.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
they started to do like the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
Civil War. They started doing stuff like that.
Yep. I think you're right, man. All right.
But,
so let's go to Boston. But I just want everybody to know we still have this amazing MLB Live plan that we're going to tell you about in a couple of minutes. I didn't want anybody to think that we forgot about it or that we're done with it. So we're going to get to this after this game in Boston, but saw that there was already triple digits expected up there in Boston. It's going to be hot as all hell, but why don't you talk about your guy here? Your boy.
My guy.
Yeah, the guy on the Red Sox here that everybody is so afraid of starting, the rook that everybody's so afraid of starting today.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're making 150 lineups, I'm still going to have like a couple shares, but my God, it's really hard to trust at this point in time. For those who are just joining us, Brian Baio, he's the third ranked prospect on this team, according to FanGraphs. He's under 24. He's 23 years old, just turned 23. His command is trash right now at the big league level. I don't know what to say, but he goes now to AAA and he just mows down batters in a pretty pronounced way. Has a 2.82 ERA at AAA over 54 innings. So not some small sample size by any means. We're looking at a K percentage at AAA this season of a 34.2% rate, a 2.61 FIP. I mean, he's just been so markedly better at AAA. Same thing that we had yesterday with the guy that got hurt from Miami that I can't even say his name anymore because it hurts my heart so much. No. Yeah, the guy yesterday. It was whatever. And Adam Scher, I know you're not watching, so I'm still mad at you, but whatever.
He didn't not watching.
He made fun of me for it. He's like, "Oh, why'd you play him? You're so dumb." Shut up. AAA numbers, though, I'm definitely looking at. He's just been so much better there.
Yeah.
But this happens a lot. You do see guys come up here and just struggle with their command. He has a 14.3% walk rate now through 2 games. That is not going to get it done. A 2.38 whip, alluded to that earlier. Great hitting environment here. I also don't know if he's not up there and not spinning it early. He's gone 79, 82 pitches. You could see a quicker hook going forward here if he starts getting on south. And this is not the kind of team you want to be facing when you're struggling out of the gate here. I played a lot of him because I think he played Tampa Bay his last time out, and had Tampa Bay there at home. It's just not been good. Toronto's not exactly a worse offense than anything Tampa Bay's providing. That's for damn sure. So I don't feel good about it. For Baio, I understand that Toronto should be the most popular team on this slate. They are the most popular team on the slate. You just got to figure out how to get lower ownership to some of these guys, and I don't really see a path to do it. So I'm going to be praying to God Baio works out, and I'm going to have a couple shares of him on the other side because I'm a sicko.
Well, let me tell you something. Not only is he going to work out, but you're getting him at, depending on what books you are at, you're getting this guy at a tremendous return because, as you mentioned, the command has just been absolute dog shit. So if you were, and I'm not suggesting that you do, even though I have, and I have my money invested in it, but you can find a really solid return if you wanted to build a 5, 6, even 7, even as outlandish as that sounds, a 5, 6, 7K ladder for your guy here. But with that said, 5, 6Ks, if he's spinning it early, as you mentioned, and he's out there and he's not giving up early base runners, then you may get a decent outing from him. And in that 5, 6, I bet 7 at a half, but I know that that's pushing it. So you're not alone is all I'm saying here. You're not alone with something invested in this young man.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
That's all. All right. Now,
this is gonna just go completely horseshit for us. So just as long as you know that.
How's the chat right now? That's what I need to see, because the chat.
Did my super chat come through? Did we have a super chat? Sure did. Any cash strategies for today's slate? Yes, my friend, my dear friend. This is kind of a fascinating one. What? Oh, the Leftorium.
Yeah. I mean, my God,
that's a great name. No, it's fine. I'll just do your job for you. It's chill. But
Thanks.
you sit still in your booth. You enjoy it. Can I get you anything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll tell you what. You take care of this one. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm looking right now at the cash game situation. I think Alcantara, if you're playing on FanDuel, I'm assuming, you're talking DK. I'm playing primarily DK today, but Alcantara is going to be a guy that isn't too cost prohibitive. Cease is cheaper on FanDuel, 10-1. I might have to think about that one. In fact, I might be going that direction, but Cleveland with that matchup, probably going to be going Alcantara just because his quality start win bonus. It's such a lock. And I think there's enough cheap hitters. FanDuel pricing, I would just play him in cash. For DK, again, Ian Anderson is 6,500. I think you play him mainly as a blocker. I think that's kind of the path that I would have to at least be thinking about. But now we have Cease starting to go up in terms of ownership. He's got the highest top 2 pitcher percentage. So everything I just said, take it back. I would play Cease and Alcantara. I think that there's enough cheapies, whether it's like Baio at second base there. He's 2,200. You play him, you get to, you play Aaron Judge in cash every single day. That seems to kind of be the correct way to live your life. Either him or Acuna, because that's just what you want to be doing. But there's enough cheapies. You just basically get some of our tools. You be able to group it. And I'm just kind of like looking at what our top projected lineup is right now for cash purposes. And now it's got Cease and Lauer. I probably wouldn't be going that direction, but I know I'd play Bethancourt in Kansas City at 2,500. I know I'm playing Nolan Gorman, 3,100. Whether or not you play Biggio, that's kind of up to you. I'd probably play Biggio over Bobby Dahlbeck, who's 2,100, now third base eligible. I don't feel as good about that one. But there's a lot of great cash plays. I like Tyler O'Neill now batting second, sub 4K in Cincinnati. So those are a couple of cash options for you to throw together, but really figuring out what you're going to do with pitcher. I think you want to just play the most popular guys. I think Ian Anderson, if you want to be getting to a couple more bats, he's the path to do it. But now you've got Cease and Alcantara, both over 35%. I think those are kind of the two. There's enough value. Have at it that direction.
And that was by the Leftorium, by the way.
There it is. Yeah. Eye roll is his default expression these days. Yeah, no, Aton, none of that. Oh, hi, T. McBee. That was T. McBee. Hello.
None of what? I'm not eye rolling anything. Look, I got my Tanqueray blended whiskey scotch over here. I told you.
It is 9:47 out here on the West Coast.
There's an entire bar over there. I just grabbed 2 quick things to show you that, this is, you can take care of the Leftorium.
Keep them right there. Keep them there. We need things in the background that aren't. There's a plant that I don't know what that is, but I don't know. I'm not going to judge your family's restaurant.
Well, look, it does well. So clearly something's happening here.
They cook food and butter and it works. That's incredible.
It does work. It's amazing. it is Northeast Pennsylvania. They lap it up. It's great. All right. So with that said, Ross Stripling on the other side here, right? I mean, look, you've got the Jays. We talked about them from a stack standpoint. This is really just more about Toronto and how much you are getting to this Boston stack. And look, we talk so much about the matchup, especially since Toronto is getting the majority of the ownership on this slate, according to what we have at Stokastic. But Boston is right there. Boston is in that St. Louis, Tampa Bay range, just even above New York. You're losing a little bit of leverage, so you could work around that. But it's not like Boston has been forgotten going up against a guy like Ross Stripling.
Well, that's because this lineup is trash. Like, it's complete trash. You have no JD Martinez, no Rafael Devers. That creates some issues for me in terms of that. But yeah, if you want to be playing Cease, you want to be playing Alcantara, and you want to play in a great game environment, which this is against Ross Stripling, in this heat, humidity, wind blowing out to right center. Sure. Jaron Duran, Christian Vasquez is, first base catcher eligible now. Franchi Cordero, all these guys are crazy, crazy cheap. Bobby Dahlbeck now to 2,100 and now third base. You're adding the dual eligibility there. Pretty ridiculous. His ownership could be through the roof. We've got him at 16.2%. He's a guy that, shout out T McBee in the chat. He and I have been invested in and hasn't necessarily gone very well. Didn't play him yesterday. Of course, he homers. So there you go. But I'm just kind of figuring out ways to get away from some of the crazy chalk that exists on this slate. And Boston, I get it. I'm more inclined to play like Franchi Cordero, some Verdugo, some Bogarts, some ways where I can kind of reduce some of the ownership. Again, Verdugo is sub 8% at 3,500 batting third. That seems a little strange to me. So I'm more inclined to get to some of those guys to lower some of the ownership of it. But yeah, if you're playing Bobby Dahlbeck, if you're playing some of these cheapies, everybody's going to have the exact same lineup construction as you. They're going to have Alcantara and Cease, or they're going to have to leave 3-4K on the table to get difference. So is what it is if you're playing 5-mans of Boston.
We have 2 questions pending on the table here. We're going to get to those before we move into, because one of them is from the News God about Miami, and the other is one directed specifically at you from Gabriel Myfrin. Pardon me if I mispronounced that. But look, as promised, we promised you this. We have to reward the tease, all right? Because otherwise Lindquist will blow his head and just go crazy. So if you're new, right, to what we have at Stokastic Plus, if you've been hanging around here trying to think about upgrading to Stokastic Plus Platinum, I don't know what more we can tell you, right? We have these things that are constantly popping up where maybe you'll get like 5% off, 10% off, maybe you'll get like $1 off, things like that, where we're just trying to sweeten the pot. But every now and again, we have something like this, which is just gigantic, where we're giving you 50% off your first week of Stokastic Plus, that pass. All right. So if you're new right now to Stokastic Plus, you can save 50% on your Stokastic Plus pass for your first week. Just click the link below. You know what to do. The link's below. The promo code is MLB Live. It's all one word. It's all caps. 50% off. Again, if you're waiting for 60 or 75, Linkers will tell you. All right. That ain't coming. If you're waiting for something like this, this is it. This is the 50% off MLB Live. This is the one, because the next time around, as we get closer to football season, 30%, 25%, which is great, which is cool. But if you're waiting for the big one, this is it. All right. I can pretty much promise you that, Lindquist. We're not going to have
this is it.
100%
off.
Oh,
I finally found someone to share my life. 'Cause whatever I do, it's just got to be you.
Yeah, we have
my life.
Was that Mike?
That was Mike coming in.
Oh my God, Terry McBride. Yes, I would recommend the person who just asked what the top stack is. Take advantage of that offer and save half off, 50% on your first week, because you can look at it. Look, you think I know what the hell I'm talking about? All right. All I'm doing is I'm looking at the run sheet. I'm sponging shit that I get from Eric and Terry and others that I'm fortunate enough to work with. And I'm using the tools here. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm using the tools. That's all.
You would suck without us. It's true.
I would be awful. I'd be like my betting slip without you. All right, let's move to Miami. And this is where wait. So Eric, you were asked a question about why. Oh, here are the sex bots. By the way, we didn't do
so great. I was worried. I was worried we weren't going to get it. I was worried that they were turned off by us.
No. And here's the thing, to be fair to you, even though I don't know why I should be, the question was, why are you, from Gabriel, why are you such a dick to Aton? It's not that you are such a dick to me. It's that you were just the first person to be a dick. Like sometimes it's me, and then people are like, yeah, Shander, leave that guy alone. I just think you were first today. That's all.
I don't even know what to say. My wife just walked in from Comic-Con, so my dog just went ballistic and is just so much happier. His life is so much better now than what it was, I don't know, for the last week.
Comic-Con at 9:54 in the morning? That is,
well, she was working. She was down there working, and she was there for a week for work. But she got on the 6 a.m. train to beat the rush, because otherwise, coming back from San Diego to LA at noon. I can only imagine what that would look like coming back from Comic-Con.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Like the night before all that. All right. Let's move to Pittsburgh. News God asked us to touch on the Sandy case. Clayton Eskew, appreciate you listening to that pod. Big stuff. Matt's a good dude from Philly. All right. So let's look at this here. Yeah. Pittsburgh, we already know. I know Quintana went nuts, 7 scoreless. Mitch Keller is a guy you already referenced. You're going to get a lot to. But we've got the NL Cy Young winner already on the board tonight. Let's at least look at him in comparison to what you're doing with anything at all with Pittsburgh, who, to be fair, and if you had your Stokastic plus 50% off package, you'd already know is projected to be the worst stack on the board, or one of them.
Yeah, they're terrible, and you should play a lot of Alcantara. He's going to be my highest owned pitcher. You got to be careful. I didn't say I was going to play tons of Mitch Keller. I said I'm going to play above the field Mitch
Fair
Keller.
enough.
That is for sure, because Miami is trash. So that is what we're going to do. But I just look at this Pittsburgh lineup. Alcantara is an absolute workhorse. This guy, I've just been talking about him for months and months now. I would play the over of 18.5, 19.5, 20.5 outs in this spot. There's so many spots where Alcantara he ends up going the distance for you constantly. I mean, it has been since May 6th, since he hasn't pitched 7 innings in a game. What? That's absurd. Like that is just so dumb. And he hasn't been hurt. Nothing.
No, the ERA hasn't been impacted either. It's not like you've seen like every now and again.
He's going to win the NL Cy Young. He's the favorite by a landslide now, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Fingers crossed. But this Miami team is terrible, and he's still found a way to, be 9-4. That doesn't matter. But a 1.76 ERA, 0.9 WHIP. He's the best pitcher in baseball overall this season, which is so crazy. Just came out. I always thought he was good, but I didn't think he was this good. And now you get a Pittsburgh matchup. If it burns me, it burns me. Yesterday, I didn't play a whole hell of a lot of Garrett Cole because I thought there were other options. I got none of the right options because that's how it works. But I feel so secure with Alcantara today. If you're playing FanDuel Cash, you're just playing him. If you're playing DK Cash, obviously he's the easiest play ever for tournaments. I think the upside is just so easily there. I think there's enough value everywhere on the board. Whether you want to stack up St. Louis in the next game, whether you want to stack up Toronto, there are just so many cheap pieces that can be intertwined into stacks. That's impossible for him not to be my highest owned pitcher today.
Yeah. And look, the K prop, it's not, 23.5% K rate. So I'll do your job here for you. It's not like he's
shut up
knocking everybody back. That
was unnecessary
by any means.
Have I made you more money in your lifetime or less money in your lifetime?
Well, I don't know, because some of these betting props that you and I create on this show don't hit. So from a DFS standpoint, probably yes. From a betting standpoint, probably. Remember, I can't legally wager Prize Picks in Pennsylvania. So that's out from a conversation. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. That's fine.
Lee Trevino, Happy Gilmore.
What about
Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Yes, he did. Let's see here. I was just looking at something with Alcantara. So Ks, I mean, honestly, I'll let you stab at this. Over 6.5 Ks, you're going to get plus money. You can get it at plus 115 at BetMGM here in PA. My point being, Eric, is that while this guy should dominate, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's 7 scoreless without even breaking a sweat, I don't necessarily think that correlates into a high amount of Ks, even against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but like you get Greg Allen back in this lineup. This guy, he's only a 21.5% career strikeout guy, but we've seen it go way, way up in the latter stages of his career. He had a 31.3% K percentage in 2020, 27.1% in 2021. A lot of that, obviously, with the Guardians, the aforementioned Guardian, whatever. We're not going to go that direction, but he just got back into the mix here. That's going to be more strikeouts that exist in this lineup. O'Neal Cruz has been striking out ad nauseum after we all so excited. Oh, he threw the ball 100 miles per hour to first base. Do I get fantasy points for that? No, I do not. Ben Gamble, 27%. I do think that there's enough there. You get Newman. That's never fun. Josh Van Meter against righties been pretty effective, but I do like the over of 6.5. I think that that's just fine. Heading over to Odd Shopper, I'm going to see if they agree with it here, but I've got him for 7.3. So I'm okay going that direction. Again, he's my highest owned pitcher by quite a ways here today. He's going to win the Cy Young. We've got him projected actually just for a little bit on the under at 5.9. I just think it's 7 innings of
variance in his Ks though, man. Does that not concern you?
Not really.
Okay.
Because I mean, you're going to give me 7 innings of work. I mean, he's put up 10 and 12 in 2 of his last 3. I mean, 4 strikeouts against the Mets, but he was just flawless. That was like flawless victory. They won 2-0. It's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, you're also getting right. I get that. I mean, if you want to look at 2 of the last 3, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it's probably just to stay away. I'm a little bit higher. Odd Shopper, which is the best source. And obviously Alex Baker, Sean Zunn, Steve Buzzard. These guys have made more money than God when it comes to DFS and betting. So I'm going to trust them in their numbers here. I have him for 7 2/3 today. I just put that as like his baseline. And with that, I'm ending up a little bit higher. I'm curious what their innings pitched is for him with this specific lineup that came out. So I'm going to refresh that and see if maybe that trails up, but it's probably at 6.5 just to stay away, considering the under is juiced, minus 130 looks like the spot there. Yep. You're getting some stuff on the over, plus 120. That's probably not enough. Let me put it this way. I would be absolutely shocked if he didn't pitch seven innings in this game. Something ridiculous would have to happen for him to not do that. So look at the over under of, because again, this has just been a print fest for the last however long, because 18.5 has been the number that's been hung up a number of times at Prize Picks. Let me pull up what it is here today as well, because I've had a lot of people asking, hey, Eric, what's your Prize Picks play for today? And I don't feel bad taking a little extra time on the most popular pitcher on the board today, or, him and Cease has the better strikeout stuff, but he's got a 45.5 pitcher fantasy score on Prize Picks. I never see anything like that. That's absurd. 21.5 pitching outs. So we were talking 18.5 constantly. 21.5, I'm probably staying away from, because, there's a lot of paths where he's gone 7 innings and they're just like, all right, we can't really, there's really no point. They did that against the Mets. He only had 93 pitches and pulled him out of that game. I was a little disappointed by that. We had 96 pitches against the Mets on the 24th of June, 96 pitches. So it seems like he's getting up to 7, maybe 8 in some of these spots, and then just kind of getting the plug pulled once in a while. So I'm staying away from that number as well. Probably a stay away from every prop on the board, except for just play a ton of him in DFS.
Look, if you want to play here, and this works with a guy like Verlander, it works with anybody who has, not every time, right? Because nothing is 100%, but if you're able, and some books will allow you to do this, like BetMGM, we've been doing this now for some MLB content here, but playing first 7 run lines, where what's more likely to happen? Mitch Keller pitching 1-run 7-inning ball, or the NL Cy Young winner? And at that point, and look, the money line is always going to reflect that. That's why the Marlins are minus 190, but I'll lay a half run minus 135 for the first 7, knowing that it's going to be super difficult, Eric, for Pittsburgh to be in a position where they're chasing Sandy out of the game, as opposed to even Miami getting 1 run and it being 1-0 after 7.
Well, not only that, but I said it before. I have nearly 20% of Mitch Keller today. This Miami lineup is just not very good. And as opposed to playing Ian Anderson, which I just want to be getting away from as much as I possibly can for DK purposes, I have to be finding some paths to these guys that are, sitting 6,800, 6,900 and kind of making that work for me. And Mitch Keller, he's not good, but he's serviceable. We're starting to see that ground ball rate really trend up the last few games. That's what I like to see, is kind of just some of the run prevention. He's given up 1 earned in his last 13 innings with 21 ground balls compared to 9 fly balls. He's just found ways to get it done. Now, one of those was in Miami against Miami. That's going to bode well, even a little bit better pitcher's park. And then Colorado, that was in Coors. That's absurd. So Mitch Keller, he's found a way to just induce some of these ground balls. You're going to need some strikeouts to some degree, but for the most part, I'm just making him a pure pivot. I'm getting to more Angels than I am Ian Anderson. That's kind of my big stand of the day. That's going to really go poorly now that I've said that. But I like him better than I like Detmers, even if Detmers, I think, probably has the better strikeout stuff. It's just such a tough spot in Atlanta. And there's nobody underneath them other than like the sporadic shares in 150 of Baio, where I'm just getting way off the board. And maybe Baio decides, hey, today's the day that I'm going to strike out batters at the big league level. Probably not, but I'm willing to not be completely off the board there. Play him with some of the chalkier teams. Like I've got Baio with some Yankees. I got Baio with St. Louis. So I can kind of piece together those lineups that way. So I'm just playing a little bit of Mitch Keller because I think he's got some security because of how bad this Miami lineup is.
By the way, hockey freak Sean Alcantara going to bust today, if you believe that. And from a DFS standpoint, I don't necessarily think this guy has implosion written all over him against this Pittsburgh Pirates team. But I'll meet you a quarter of the way and say you could probably still get north of 120, maybe like plus 130 for a yes run first inning between these two teams. That would be the betting angle. If you think that there is a way to Sandy, it's not going to be wearing him down over 3 times in the lineup. It's probably just going to be circumstance and taking advantage of something, maybe a hit by pitch or something like that in the first inning. But that's what I would say is I look, he may not win the slate for you, but I don't think he's going to lose the slate for you.
That's exactly it. I have 90% of him on DK. So there you go.
Okay. All right. You want to move to Cincy now?
You want to fade me, Sean V. Today is the day. Just don't play him.
And watch
maybe
that.
Gets nuts. By the way, the weather looks so much better with Minnesota. I might have to be getting to more of them.
That's in Detroit. We'll get to that in a game. But first, let's hit Cincinnati. Michaelis, Male. And with that, I mean, this is actually a pretty fascinating matchup here between the St. Louis Stack and the pitching matchup of Tyler Mahle, who is Kane, guys, this year out there on the hill. With that said, though, you've got the 5-6 projected run total for St. Louis. So if you just look at Mahle and the card stack, how does that wind up for you?
Yeah, this is a team that I'm just going to play.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, it's not a ton of negative leverage. I mean, they've got a pretty high stack score. Pretty good chance of going nuts here in the spot. 10.4% top stack percentage, third best, just behind Toronto and the Yankees. Best ballpark in the league for home runs. Hot, humid, wind blowing out. Welcome to another inferno. And Mahle from time to time can miss some bats. So I mean, it's not like this is without some kind of trepidation, but God, I just look at this lineup. It's so well constructed. They're finally starting to piece together lineups that I don't completely hate 1 through 7. So that's cool. Love seeing no Pujols. Get Dylan Carlson and O'Neill for some cheap value. Again, sub 4K Tyler O'Neill. I don't know how he doesn't end up being a cash piece for you today. Even Nolan Gorman, 491 expected slugging. I would probably get to pieces of him. He only starts against righties at this point. I believe it's only 2 times that he started against lefties this season. Obviously, Mahle from the right side. That's all we're worried about. Going to be a splits guy early stages here. And Mahle, he does what you need to do for the most part to be successful in Great American. 36.5% hard hit percentage, a 207 expected batting average. So the ball's getting hit weekly. It's a pretty low batting average here. But he's walking guys just north of a 9% clip, and also 19-degree average launch angle. If he gives up some contact, there's guys like O'Neill, Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Gorman at the top of that lineup that are going to really make him pay. So total over 5, great hitting environment, best ballpark outside of Coors for scoring, period. Fire it up in bulk. I have no problem getting to St. Louis today, and they're not crazy popular the way that Toronto's going to be. No,
and that's going to be the pivot there if you're looking for ownership or percentages to stay away from, by all means. Look, Michaelis on the other side here, I don't know. Well, actually, real quick, is the concern for Mahle not necessarily the strikeouts or lack thereof, because he's got a pretty decent to strong K rate, but more so that he just may not be in the game long enough to live out maybe K expectations?
Yeah, well, no, he hasn't pitched since the 2nd, and Cincinnati's bullpen is trash, so that's fun. But Mahle himself hasn't been all that good. A 1.3 whip, 4.48 ERA this season. You get to that Cincinnati bullpen and life is good. So again, it's one of those things for me where just looking at some of these hitters now, is Gorman going to get pitch hit for? I don't think so in any spot here. Tommy Edmond, batting 6th even gives you something at 4K. His WAR is off the charts actually this season compared to what I expected his production to be, because I just didn't think he was having a very good year. By all intents and purposes, he's not having a good year for his standards, but he's starting to be better. Just put him in the 6 hole. He's just fine there. But yeah, against Mahle, he's probably not going to pitch that long. It's been 3 weeks since we've seen him. But again, Cincinnati's bullpen, yay, just fine with it.
Now, I wonder how you look at this year, because move to Detroit.
I have 0 Mahle for what it's worth too, for people asking if I actually like Mahle. You shouldn't play him today.
Okay.
I have
just the K rate alone. I thought it might be enough to entice. I mean, look, he's got a ton of leverage.
There's enough guys that we can take shots on that you don't have those same concerns.
Yep.
Like that's what it is. You kind of need a lot of things to go well. He needs to survive against a really good lineup, and he needs to pitch more than you expect, and he needs to get the strikeouts in the process. I'm just not finding any paths to get to him.
No, that makes sense. And Terry echoed that in the chat as well, where you're now dealing with a parlay of circumstances that need to hit.
Yeah, Ben Rossa talks about that all the time. Like,
he stole that phrase from me, by the way.
No, he didn't.
How do you know that? Go back.
He's been saying it for years. I did 2 years of shows with the man.
Well, I've been here for about 2 years.
I've been here for about 2 years.
Well, yeah, that's how you kind of prove how a timeline
You're
works.
like a gremlin underneath the bridge. I came up with the phrase.
Gremlins don't live under the bridge. Trolls live under the bridge. Oh. Gremlins live in that pawn shop. But they are not gremlins at first, right? They are...
Conversation took a turn.
What the hell are they called?
I have no freaking clue, dude.
Gizmos. They're gizmos before they turn into gremlins. You don't feed a gremlin after midnight. Come on. Mogwai. Thank you. Jesus, Eric Lindquist. All right. Now
Tyler O'Neill, or not Tyler. Oh, O'Neill. Yeah, Tyler O'Neill. Good. Nelson. I was thinking, yeah, whatever. We're going to continue on. Tyler O'Neill's a great homer pick.
I thought that was William Shatner. I thought the Twilight Zone was the same guy from Midnight Run, Grodin, isn't it? Oh, no, it was John Lithgow. Was it John Lithgow?
John Lithgow's amazing.
Yeah, so you've never seen the John Lithgow Twilight Zone where he's flying home on a plane and he sees something, it looks like some sort of gremlin out there?
Sure haven't.
Oh, my God. You go back and do some homework, please. Now, I'm okay. Under Sonny Gray's Ks today. Went under 5.5 Ks.
Okay. It's fine.
Why don't you start there?
Weather looks a lot better there. I'm not even
today.
Sure.
Yep.
I didn't know if that game was going to play. So
no, it's
I'm just
kind
of like, there. Well, Alex Kirilloff just showed back up in my life in a very meaningful way. So here we go. But yeah, I'm just kind of updating everything here for Sonny Gray. Detroit against right-handed pitching, confirmed, good spot. Are we talking that game now? Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Detroit is terrible at baseball. They are a horrific team. Let me count the ways. Let's just start with this. Detroit against right-handed pitching, a 68 WRC plus, a 24.2% strikeout rate, a 101 ISO. This is a big league baseball team. Well, not really. It's a quad A team. Right. I stole from Terry because Terry says those things correctly. So I attribute when I steal something from one of my friends and coworkers, I say who it is and give them credit for it. But 7,100.
You think Ben Ross has ever given credit for anything that I've said? No.
Sure has.
Yeah, right.
He's a lovely, extraordinary gentleman. 7,100 though for Sonny Gray.
Yes.
I don't really find myself getting to a ton of him here. I thought I would be getting to more, but it's just been a weird thing with the pitch count. He's yet to hit 100 pitches on the season. His last 2 outings have gone very, very poorly and been even further reduced against the White Sox, against Texas. You know, makes sense. Both of those offenses are markedly better at this stage than what they were 3 weeks ago, a month ago. But still, I'm not all that enthusiastic. The Ks really aren't there for me. This is so weird to say out loud. I do like Mitch Keller more than I like Sonny Gray because Sonny Gray is actually pulling some of the ownership here. I'm going to get to a couple shares, but I just would rather get up to the Ceases, to Alcantaras. I think that there's enough ways for me to just constantly get to some of those guys and not have to worry so much about, who can actually get me strikeouts on this slate. So probably just a product on a different slate. Yeah, I think I'd be getting to more Sonny Gray, but not going to be for me for young Sonny.
No, and it makes me feel good to hear that because there are not only one, but 2 Minnesotans in the house here as Mr. Orfield has stepped into the room. So if nobody from Minnesota is pushing back on my Sonny Gray under K, and the flip side of that is also just looking at Detroit here, who is not projected to be awful on this slate by any means. It's not like what we talked about with the Pittsburgh game at the total bottom of that. So the fact that there are 3 teams on this 9-game slate below Detroit may be enough of a victory in its own right, especially because you have Garcia, who the XRA is going to be high. I get it, but there may be some Ks in this lineup.
In the Minnesota lineup?
Something to limit.
I don't really see it. Sanchez is a 27.4% K percentage. He's batting 9th. Nick Gordon, 25.7%. He's batting 6th. Alex Kirilloff, everybody else moving down under 23%. And then you get guys like Araz, 7.9%, Kepler, sub 15%, Gio Urshela, 17%, Jose Miranda, sub 20%. I don't really see Rony Garcia being in play whatsoever. 25% K percentage. I mean, this is just obviously no Buxton. So there's that, but Buxton's a K that, you know, can be showing up at the same time that he can, you know, smack a homer on you. I don't know. I don't really see myself getting to a share of Rony Garcia in a million years. And really for me, I thought this game had a really good chance of being postponed early. This is a division rival. Now that it looks pretty good for me, I'm getting to a lot more Minnesota now that I've got them back in my pool. Alex Kirilloff, Kepler, they're starting to pull a little bit of that ownership away. I still have some Angels, but as I'm crunching here with 20 minutes left to go, I'm getting a lot of these Twins bats. So it's just a really good spot against Rony Garcia, who 53.1% hard hit percentage. It is hard to find a number like that in the league, a 552 expected slugging. At the same time that occasionally he can miss bats, he's really not walking guys either. So the ball's getting put in play against him. Decent hitting conditions. Just another spot here where it's, over 80 degrees, wind's blowing hard across the field to left. You get a couple of pulled balls going that direction, and it's night for him.
Okay. So, by the way, shout out to Bean Dude. Top 3 movie for John Lithgow is definitely Ricochet. Hard to outshine Denzel.
I don't know. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
John Lithgow, his best performance ever is in Dexter. Him and Dexter is unfrickin' believable. It's like season 3 of Dexter.
It is season 3, yeah.
Oh my God. He's one of the best villains I've seen on TV, period. And
ever.
I never expected that. I mean, I'm like, this is the guy from Third Planet from the Sun or whatever that sitcom. He is outrageous.
You've never seen Ricochet, have you?
Never. No.
Okay. I again, now I have homework on my own because apparently William Shatner was the original in the television episode of The Twilight Zone, not necessarily the movie. That's where John Lithgow pops in. But what you're referring to, that single season of Dexter, which stands out amongst the show and is arguably one of the best solo seasons of television. I mean, you've got like season 3 of The Wire. I mean, you can go through certain seasons of iconic shows.
I think about
Insanity.
That repeatedly.
Insanity.
Like even the way that he's so subtle, because you don't really see him do anything bad for the first however many episodes of that season. And really, it comes down like the don't touch my things. When he gets really freaked out about, very, very, oh God, it's just so specific. His acting is very specific. And like watching him do that role, you're like, this guy can do anything. He could literally do anything. Because I thought he was just some slapstick comedy guy from Third Rock from the Sun. Yeah.
No, you go back and that's what I mean. Like Ricochet is actually a good movie. It'll still hold up in the sense of like, it's not, like a broken down. Denzel is fantastic, but you start to see that combination of psychopath to like just this devious and in him where he can come out. Look, I mean, Cliffhanger is another one too, where for me, Ricochet and Cliffhanger were the ones where I was just like, wait a second, this is just like when you see Bob Saget do stand-up, right? You're like, holy shit, this is not Tanner.
This can't be John Lithgow. This can't be Bob Saget.
Exactly.
It's incredible. Okay. And I think sometimes we might over accentuate certain guys because I mean Heath Ledger's incredible as the Joker, but like part of why he's so incredible in it is that our perception of him was like the rom-com everyday guy. You know what I mean? Like the absolute. Like for me, The Brothers Grimm, I think his acting is better in that movie with Matt Damon than what it is in The Joker. And I know that that's super hot take.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Because his acting's unbelievable in it.
Look, I am an anti-Ledger guy. I recognize that he was genius as the Joker, but even still, I mean, Jack's the Joker. But Brothers Grimm?
See, this may be like an age thing. For me, the Joker will always be Luke Skywalker, will always be Mark Hamill. Like Mark Hamill's Joker.
When was
his Joker? He was in the animated So when they did the animated Batman when I was growing up, it was Mark Hamill doing the voice of the Joker, and he's unbelievable.
Wait a second, I didn't realize that. Okay, I'll give you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It is crazy how good Mark Hamill is as the voice of Joker.
Now, okay, I will give you that. Although I still maintain that the best thing Mark Hamill ever did was his appearance on The Simpsons. But that just
Can I time out Neil Orfield? You can't have the take Jared Leto as the Joker. That has to be the biggest troll of all time. Otherwise, you might not be working at the company in the next 15 minutes. We have to get on the phone and say that we've had a Discord and that we are no longer able to work together.
I think he did that to troll Terry as well, because Terry will get visibly upset if you say something ridiculous over the top about theater or film or TV. All right. We do have to talk about Dylan Cease here with that near 35% K rate. You realize this, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good at pitching.
Yeah.
So
Could
I get
be the
it.
AL Cy Young if things hold up. Probably not, but not a terrible value piece if you got in at the All-Star break. Just saying.
Yeah, his strikeout stuff just kind of transcends the matchup. And you do get Reyes, Hedges, Jimenez is 21%. He's still not there. But there's so many spots where it's just difficult to see strikeouts. Quan, Clement, Straw. He's just that good, though. 34.4% K percentage. I mean, it's just the highest on the slate by a long shot. So hard for me to say that I don't have interest there, but I'm getting to just around the field, a little bit under here in my last crunch. I'm going to upload lineups here in like 4 minutes to update for all my Minnesota changings. But as it stands right now, 35% of him. So I'm literally just underneath the field. I'll probably end up somewhere in that ballpark here. Maybe I'll even a little bit less, but it's so easy to get up to him and to Alcantara today. Finding ways to get to both of them in lineups, that's going to be a very popular build. I am trying to sprinkle in other guys with some expensive bats, getting to more Judge, Acuna, some of the guys that you want to get as one-offs or in, like two-mans, Carpenter and Judge, stuff like that, where, you can't necessarily get up to that top end, but no doubt about it. He's got the best strikeout stuff of any pitcher on this slate. He should be popular. I'm just really, really bullish on Alcantara in his spot today. Think that he just smashes for all intents and purposes, but those are your two cash game pitchers.
So the thing about Cleveland, which I found interesting, is that I got plus money. I think it was even money. We put this in one of the 3 legs for the MLB parlay video that we're doing now on Odd Shopper. I got over 3.5 at even money for the Guardians, just team total today. And I thought it was a little odd because if anything, it might just be playing on, they're going up against Dylan Cease. And clearly Dylan Cease is going to carry not only name, but number recognition as well. Cleveland, on the other hand, though, I mean, over the last 10, 15 games, I think you're finding maybe one game where they didn't score at least 4 runs. They're projected 3.9. So this could be like, I'm with you from a real life to DFS to even betting standpoint, not totally fading Cease, but with the expectation of, all right, Cleveland is not dog shit, and they could probably get a couple of runs here versus Miami going up against Pittsburgh. I don't even know where the argument would be.
No, there's no argument.
Okay. Just making sure. Now, anything on the Beebs?
The Beebs frustrates me like the Beebs, but Beebs has put out better music lately. That's another hot take. But regardless, I'm looking at the Beebs as just a dude on this slate. It's weird to look at him like this at this stage of his career. I mean, he's got a 25% K percentage. This White Sox lineup, though, there are some strikeouts to be had, but it's gotten better. So glad to see Eloy Jimenez did not break his hand. I was watching that game live when he took it on the hand, and I was like, he's in the lineup on Saturday. I didn't expect that. So very happy that he's okay, even though they're our division rivals. I never like watching that from a fan perspective. And he's got a 55.8% hard hit percentage. He's going to continue to get better and better here as he gets worked up to speed from being out for a long time. Gavin Sheets, all right, getting to in that lineup. Just sucks that, for me, you're not getting Jose Abreu. So that's a bummer. It's just not as good of a lineup going up against him. It's okay to get to a little bit of Bieber, but for me, I just have other interests in just going down to the bottom to get completely contrarian. He's got 26% ownership going his direction, and I can't play everybody popular. Not going to get to much of him or Lauer. I'm just using those shares to get up to some of those top end guys, and then I'm sprinkling in some cheapies.
All right. And yeah, by the way, we got to get these likes up for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
Seriously, we're giving you gold here. All right. John Lithgow's filmography. We should at least be at 500 likes on this Sunday, man.
It's getting rowdy.
Just pop it up there. By the way, before we hit this Royals game, final 2 games here before lock, about 10 minutes right before lock, more range. I don't want an answer. I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to just think about this. More range. John Lithgow Bryan Cranston, both coming from
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
Malcolm in the Middle and
Seinfeld.
And Third Rock from the Sun.
Remember, like both
Seinfeld,
are coming from this comedic sense, and both just completely went off and did other stuff. Now, you can argue Cranston really only has that one true departure from what he was in Breaking Bad, where Lithgow had a couple.
No, you had Bryan Cranston. He did How I Met Your Mother. He was the architect for Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother in, I believe, 2 or 3 episodes of that. He had been on Just Shoot Me. He had been on a couple of different shows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's
through.
Also from that.
Yeah, true. It's very true. I mean, both of them are just outrageous. Let's be serious. They are manly men.
Absolutely. I mean, it's exactly that. All right. I hope nobody played the Phillies today. Tampa, Kansas City. Let's look at this Royals game. It's Chris Bubich season for you, is it not?
Is it ever Chris Bubich season?
Yeah.
No, it's not. We are going to hit pass.
Are you doing anything like Springs? How about Springs at least? Look, you've got an attack.
He's coming off the IL.
Yeah,
there's just no way of knowing. Same thing as Molly. Yep. Quick pass on pitching here. Yep. Let's talk Tampa Bay Bats, because
this has
been a team that has really ruined my life the last 2 days.
Aren't they resting some guys though today?
Yeah, but I don't care. You get opportunities. I mean, against a lefty, you're going to get guys like Lauer who just end up out of the lineup from time to time. But this is a team that are top stacks, Joel, and I think they are dead on with this. You're getting an afternoon Kansas City game, super hot, wind blowing out. Once again, I feel like I've said that 15 times, but a 9.4 stack score. Again, that's kind of culminating everything, which is ownership shares, some of the most popular hitters, leverage, positive leverage, second highest stack score on the board here, just a 7.5% top stack percentage. But this is just an underrepresented team, in my opinion. And looking at the tools, they agree with that sentiment. So, 91 degrees right now at first pitch, slightly blowing out to right, maybe even a little bit in here at the moment. But there's still some pop that exists in some of these Tampa Bay bats. You get some cheapies to go along for the ride, pretty much up and down the entire spot outside of a Rosarena. You get Luke Raley, he's been so good at AAA and he's been so bad at the bigs. He's basically been the Brian Baio of the hitter position. So that's cool. And Christian Bethancourt, you're just playing him as your catcher in cash on DK. 2,500, going to be pretty popular, but I don't really care. Not popular enough. So I'm going to play a lot of Bethancourt.
That's really it in this game. I mean,
really
I don't, right?
Kansas City, you can get some Kansas City on the other side.
You can. But
Jeffrey Springs has been really, really good, but you're going to run into a bullpen situation. You just have some actual major league hitters at the top and then just some trash. So it is what it is. It's a pretty quick game to cover.
Look at that. Leftorium. Thoughts on Jays, because we appreciate the earlier super chat by all means. Thoughts on the Jays 1 through 5 stack, Cease, Alcantara as far as the stack for cash.
Cease, yeah, you're playing Cease and Alcantara.
I mean, you're playing those two pitchers.
You're playing those two
are you rolling Jays or are you rolling Toronto as far as your stack for cash?
You're not stacking in cash.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So Jays,
you're playing the best individual hitters, point per dollar.
Yeah.
You're playing the best individual hitters. Sometimes when you get Coors, like it's been over the course of this season, where it's super cheap, you're going to end up with 5 bats from whoever the visiting team is, because they just never get properly adjusted. But yeah, that's not something you should ever be thinking about cash.
Who would you say was somebody who played well in a sport, didn't play long enough to be looked at as an all-timer, but is kind of like a little gray area for what they've done? Like Gale Sayers, and I'm dating even myself because I was alive when Gale played, but he played 6 years, and everybody was like, this guy would have been the best ever if he just played a little bit longer. Gene Hackman, I feel like, is an overrated actor, but you can't be overrated unless you're good in the first place. Like you have to be good in a certain spot. But I don't think Hackman has the range we're talking about here with the John Lithgow. That's just.
Well, I guess we're never getting Jeffrey. We're never getting him on the show. So good job,
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Gene Hackman. You never know.
Yeah, trust me. If we have an opportunity to get Gene Hackman on the show and he says no because that idiot,
I will make you apologize over and over again.
All right, I'll take the hit. All right, yeah. Eddie Seha.
Shame you in the public square. No, that's it.
Super chat. Best Dk Gpb stack. We still have this last game to get to in Milwaukee.
Angels.
Right? Best
Angels and
base.
Twins. Angels
what
and
about
Twins.
Your best third baseman.
Angels, Twins. Best third base DK GPP. If you're playing like a one-off, I mean, it's hard not to like Arenado under 10% in Great American Small Park.
Yeah.
But I'll go Isaac Paredes. I mean, this dude has crazy pop going up against a lefty and Bubic. Batting cleanup here for Tampa Bay today. Tampa Bay, just a team outside of Diaz and Arozarena that's just going underrepresented.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is getting anything that's underrepresented in this case here. Looking at this last game, right? We've got Poole and Lauer. This is going to be a one-sided conversation, I imagine, although Colorado definitely outside of home, pardon me. I was just looking at EMAC and Terra. I've upset both of them here. All right. The Cool, just move past Cool here, right?
Yeah, I'm not playing. That's the craziest thing you could do in your life.
Right. Exactly. Eric Lauer is going to be the play here if there is going to be a play.
Oh, yeah. This Eric Lauer thing is pretty wild to me because we've seen he had his K percentage just inflated at the beginning of this season. It's come down to around 25.1%, which is still serviceable. And you don't have Chris Bryant. Like a month ago, that would be one thing. But with him in the lineup today, I don't know how I get to anybody for that's going up against this. I get it's Colorado outside of Coors, but still, I look at this lineup. I think that there's just no reason for me to go overweight on Lauer. The way that I'll just get to the best strikeout artist in Dylan Cease. I'll get to Alcantara. I will get to some of these cheapies and try to make a case for some of them. But this 8K range is just going, I think, a little bit overowned. And I think the tools kind of show that as well. Bieber, 9,300, 8.1% negative leverage. Lauer, negative leverage. Cortez, negative leverage. Sonny Gray, negative leverage. Just give me the best pitchers on the slate. Yep. Again, I don't think it's too hard to get to them here in this spot. I will say I like Eric Lauer a little bit more than them because he's cheaper, but I'm getting away from some of this Anderson chalk as well. And then as a default, I'm just getting up to the top end guys with, a smattering of bottom end talent. So I get it if you want to get to a little bit of Lauer, but I'm not going to be doing it.
No, and I definitely understand that by all means, but it does open up a conversation here about what you can do with the Rockies bats, right? Not to say that you're racing to get to Colorado by any means, but unlike Pittsburgh or even the White Sox in Baltimore, they haven't truly been written off with our stacks tool. And again, MLB Live, 50% off, Stokastic plus your first week. You don't need me to tell you this, then you can just follow along. Point being though, Eric, is that it's not something that I think we should just totally write off. There may be some sort of maneuverability here, even if it's a sub to 2-3-man stack.
Yeah, I think it's a team you just get to.
Colorado.
I 3.8 implied total doesn't look so great. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense there, but it's not like Eric Lauer's been sublime. He's got a 410 expected slugging, a 40.3% hard hit percentage. There are some guys with some pop in this lineup. And I know Chris Bryant's 27.6% hard hit percentage looks abysmal this year because it is. But the guy's still got a 412 expected slugging. I think you're going to see that continue to trend up for him. Going up against any lefty, I think there's a case to getting to him. Iglesias, not a ton of pop. So there's that. Apparently can only hit like his 2 homers against the Dodgers or whatever it is on the season. I saw something with that earlier, but it's not a great lineup by any means, but there's still pieces that I'm getting to. CJ Cron every time against a pitcher garnering 20%, that's left-handed. So I've got some Cron, I've got some Bryant. So maybe not so much 5-mans, but definitely have some pieces here.
So real quick, before things lock here, you mentioned Cron. Is there anybody else that is jumping out at you across the board? I didn't play anybody today to go long here. By the way, these comedies that people are suggesting for Gene Hackman are embarrassing. I'm just going to say that, but you may continue.
This is hilarious. I mean, love that you're getting trashed on and getting dunked on because you've been only dunking on me this entire show. So it's not very nice. I really have nothing
and by
else
the
to
way,
add
Bill
here.
Miner, no disrespect at all, brother. We're just having I'm not like Eric. I'm not contentious with the chat.
God. That's one way to put it. Milwaukee, this is just a team that's been very, very popular on a lot of slates here of late. They're not as popular here today, kind of going forgotten a little bit. No, they're the most negatively leveraged. I just refreshed. Yeah, it's just a team that I can't get to a ton of. Rowdy Tellez is 3,800. That's absurd and ridiculous for DK purposes. Adames is a guy at 5K that you can definitely get to at the shortstop position where he can just kind of win the position for you.
Yep.
But I'm finding ways to get away from Milwaukee, just knowing that they've been so popular in the last few slates, and that's continuing again today.
Okay. Is there anything else? Are you locked in?
I'm locked in. I got everything done.
Okay, you did.
And
we're
literally at lock. So
we are at lock. Okay.
Yeah, how beautiful that is. Literally stuck the landing.
Look at that. We hit the post, as they say in I mean, come on. Welcome to Mooseport. Is that what you're giving me? And I understand. Awesome.
That's trolling. That's trolling.
Right. Royal Tenenbaums was just way too many people in the movie. It dragged. The Replacements is a steaming pile of dog shit, and you don't need me to tell you that. All right, Enemy of the State, like these are all similar characters, right? He's got to be some sort of like authoritative guy who's very delegating, or he plays that crazy maniac. Enemy of the State. Just give me all I'm talking about is range. Okay, Get Shorty was god awful. All right, I'll give you something he was good in. I'll give you something that he was good in, that he was funny in, because but still it played off of who the persona is of Gene Hackman. Like Gene Hackman wouldn't be funny in the Birdcage unless he was unless he was Gene Hackman earlier. So you can't give me Gene Hackman in the Birdcage without referencing that it is a departure from who he was, and they played off that on purpose. There you go. We'll see you later.
You done? Bye.
No, I thought we had to stay here till 45.
Do we?
Yeah, and look, if you're giving me the other guy, Keanu Reeves, I'm gonna go Russo on you here. Keanu Reeves. Jesus. Hoosiers. Okay, Hoosiers. What else you got?
Dude, what is wrong with you?
Oh my God. I can I'll talk about anything. You want to improv something? Give me an actor and a movie, or give me something, and I'll rant about it. We should do that. You're an actor. You can improv.
Let's do
Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones 9. Go ahead.
Dude, you are on one.
Maybe I'm just sober.
Marshall, I don't know if you could say that, but that's actually funny.
No. It has to be accurate first. Like, I don't know who that person is. So there's nothing to really that's just not funny. Like if you said it, it would be funny because you know me and that's how it works.
That is generally how it works. Yes. But also I'm terrified of you at the moment.
Me?
Yeah, you just said some mean things very, very quickly in succession. What do you
say
about
about
me?
Gene Hackman?
I know, but what do you say about me when I'm not on shows?
I just got an email it's a non-union to portray a 4'11" individual or shorter for season 3 of the Wu-Tang Saga.
Awesome.
Could you do that?
No. You
couldn't portray someone 4'11" or shorter?
I'm 6'2". I'm going to say no, that I could not do that.
All right.
just guessing, just throwing it out there, my friend.
We're out of here, right?
I think so. I mean, the lineups are just starting to come out here for the afternoon slate.
Is there anything you want to talk about this afternoon here?
Not really.
No? Phillies 4-1. They're on the board.
Cool.
Well, what do you want to do?
I don't know.
It?
I'm just scared of you. I mean, everything
because of a rant about Gene Hackman.
No, but then you were just being contentious and hurtful, and the people are leaving. So we should probably, I don't know.
Well, they're leaving because it's locked, and you didn't say anything to keep them.
Oh, it's my fault.
All right, we're out of here. Thanks again to Eric Lindquist.
Love you guys.
We'll see you.